going live. All right. I'm live. You're live. We're all live. See where everybody is. That'll be, that should be fine. We'll see what happens. A different type of live today, right? Different kind of live. You don't have any light on this side. Well, I'm live and nobody showed up. And I don't know if my audio's working. So, oh no, it must be. I think it's going on down at the bottom. So let's hope that. I don't have anybody in though. So nobody's showing up for live. There's somebody. Okay. Okay, you hear me, Bobby? Okay. Afternoon, everybody. You can tell it's different. And I'll keep explaining that. For some reason, I had everything set up to go live about 15, 20 minutes ago. And then the power went down. And now I'm not going to turn this around, but my computer is trying to attempt repairs. So I'm on the camera and a microphone on the laptop instead of the studio, which is in front of me, and I'm watching it and just keep saying attempting repairs. So something happened. It wasn't working, and then I shut it all off and then tried to reboot it, and we waited 15 minutes. Nothing happened, so we decided to go here. So that is why things look a little different. So instead of two big screens, I got one little screen. We're kind of in there. So, oh, well, we'll make it. And for some reason, it keeps trying to adjust the light on me. So I don't know what that's about. I keep seeing my screen dim and go in and out. But I do see how long I've been on now. There's a timer on this. So this is different. And normally I go in OB Studios through a different route and method, which we'll have to fix once we get the computer back up. But this is going through YouTube. So it's a little different. So good afternoon, Glenn and Mitch and everybody else. Sorry for any glitches here. It looks like I've just gotten really light. I don't know why it's adjusting. It appears. I don't know. Maybe it's just on my end. The light keeps adjusting on my side. I get very, very pale, and then it goes darker and pale. And it could be just an adjustment here on the laptop. So it is what it is, but we did make it up. And it's Friday, and we're live. So live is always the challenge. Chasing Legends, getting it in and making sure we get a Chasing Legends up every Monday. It's always, we got time, we're patient and all, and we've covered a lot, probably like 4 years without missing a Monday through everything that's ever happened. But live can always be a challenge. We've done it on laptops and computers and in the studio and on iPhones and everywhere. Anyways, it's 104 today. Looking down here at the phone, it feels like 104, so that makes sense. But we're out of the 110 stuff for a while, it appears. It's going to stay in the 100 to 105 range, and we're going to be down into the 70s for lows. So we finally got some. I know most places you live, you're thinking, what? This is cool weather right now. It was nice out today, so much cooler weather. Right now, it's pretty breezy. There's a good breeze going through. I know the East Valley. I don't know if the Superstitions got it, but I know Mesa and Tempe and Scottsdale got a lot of heavy bad weather yesterday. So there. So yeah, it was pretty bad. East Valley, West Valley, we got some wind. It just messed the pool up, and that was it. Do you have some good videos coming when it cools off? And we'll be out. We're gonna get out. Trevor has a lot of ideas. Stuff he wants to do. We had several trips planned last year during the winter and spring, and then a few things happened, and we had to put those trips off for other reasons, for other things. So there are some cool stuff we want to do. I'm not going to give away, but there are 3 or 4 trips that we just want to make that are going to be deeper into the mountains, and then there's some stuff we're going to do with Frank. So we've had 70. Well, don't tell me about your 76 degrees. I don't care about your 76 degrees. I'll be fine when I wake up in the morning. It's 77 degrees. That'll be nice next week. So right now it's been pretty hot. It's been pretty humid. So we're not getting a ton of rain off of El Nino or Nina, whichever one it is during the summer. I think it's Nino during the summer and Nina during the winter. But the Gulf Stream from Baja, we're not getting we're not getting the rain, but we're getting the humidity, so it's tough. And Trevor is just back. He's somewhere at the other end of the house. He just got back from Tucson just a little bit ago. So he was in Tucson for a few days. And now he's back just in time to watch everything go to crap again. So there you go. So had stuff set up and kind of had everything ready to go. And then just it was a flicker. It was like boop. And then just I heard the fan go off and the monitors blinked and I heard the couple little noises and Trevor didn't even notice it. The power had flicked off. And then I looked up and realized I got nothing. So I was like, well, great. So I'm ready to go. I got crickets. What? I got circles? But America's Untold Stories is rocking. Check it out. I got circles. I don't know what that means. You got circles. Okay. I don't know. Sometimes it's lost in translation. So anyhow, good week. I talked to Shoes this week, Bob Shoes, and I talked to Larry Hedrick this week. I talked to Jack Sanfelice this week. I talked to Frank Augustine this week. I talked to Woody Wampler this week. Derek Papsky, I don't know if no, Derek's not on here yet, but Derek called me and I talked to Derek. Trying to think of who else I talked to. It was a pretty weird week. It was like phone call after phone call for a while. Chuck Tucson's here. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. Trevor didn't even check in what it was like down in Tucson. He was there since Tuesday or Wednesday. So he just, like I said, he just got back. Nice. How's Larry? Larry's doing all right. We just had a nice talk. Larry's not a Dutch hunter. He's not a superstitions guy. He was involved in the museum. He did ride and he was friends with Tom. Wasn't a Dutch hunter, explorer the mountains. He did ride with Tom a few times. And I think he even told me before, he's not really spent much time in the mountains when it wasn't with Tom. And that was many, many years ago. So usually Larry and I talk some stuff about the museum. He does the Civil War reenactment and some other stuff. So it's more on just, hey, how are you doing? How are you feeling? He said he was feeling really great, which is good. And I always check in with him and make sure he comes out to the rendezvous and all that stuff. And his interest is a little different. He comes maybe to see a few people, but he's not really. Tom was probably the friend of the group of his. I know he's Frank. Frank and him get along. So Frank, I think, talked to him this week. But that's, I think people always think what they see and they try to read into something and all. And I like Larry and we talk, but he has there's a few things we talk about that are, it's just a different side of things. It's not the Dutch hunting, treasure hunting stuff. I think his things are, there's the dragoon pistols and stuff like that. And then he'll tell other stories from other people and stuff. But it's different and all the more power to him and stuff. But it was good to catch with him. I know he had a little rough spells before earlier this year and he's doing good. So he talked about a few things and stuff going on with the Mysteries channel. And that's not to be discussed here or anything, whatever they're doing. That's their business. But no, I just like to touch base to see how he's feeling and how he's doing from that. And then Jack Sanfelice, he's having a few ups and downs and stuff, but he's working on some things and that's cool. Hoping both of them show up at the rendezvous. And Shoes was always Bob Shoes. So he was doing well. Woody doing fine. And Frank, he was in the tub the last time we talked. I hear him splashing around, which is kind of funny. So, and I'm trying to think, there was a couple other people, but yeah, it was kind of a week of touching base with a number of people who also might talk to a few other people. So we get to kind of touch base. And so that was good. I hadn't done that for a month or so. I'd kind of been a little lax on that. Um, I talked to Ron Feldman too. Ron and I had a nice conversation for a while. So I talked to Ron. Usually once in a while it's Jesse, but if I talk to Jesse, we usually stay on the phone quite a while talking about a lot of different stuff. But with Ron, it was more focused on certain things, and we were talking about a few things. So Ron's doing well, so he should be at the rendezvous. So, was there any update on the young man went missing last year? Which one? Because there's several. I know the Cayman Welch is still missing, and that's a couple years. I don't know who else. Delta Dog's in the house. I love Larry's stuff also. Agreed. Don't know if he agrees with me, you, there, anybody. Did Trevor ever come and visit Ireland? No, he never made it to Ireland. That's in 2026. So 2026 is Ireland. Next year, he's supposed to be in Germany. So his plan is next spring, Germany, and then the following year is Ireland and Scotland. So, and I might in 2026 accompany him for my Irish and Scottish tour. So I don't know. I just don't want to sit on a plane that long, but I figure maybe if I, knock back a couple pills and a couple bourbons, maybe I can sleep my way through till I get there. Thanks. I know he is getting up there and glad you guys are friends. I love what you guys do. Arizona, its history. Okay. Yeah, no problem. Ron says he knows where the LDM. I know where Ron thinks the LDM is. I thought that was pretty public knowledge. Just buy one of his books. Yeah, so that was one of and that's something we always discuss. We always talk. You don't have to agree on everything and stuff. No, the conversations. See, a lot of conversations with these guys is kind of on the personal level of stuff of how you're doing your health, how's the family. And that was a funny moment because Ron was talking about Ted Cox and Don Shade. And then next thing I know is I'm talking to Larry later, and Larry is talking about Don Shade coming by the museum back when it was at Goldfield when it first opened, when they did that. And the discussion with Larry was mainly when they were building the museum building. It's kind of funny. Larry would have you believe almost he built it single-handedly, but then he does break down and tells you who did stuff. Clay painted some, but Dan Hopper hung the drywall, and which I knew, but so we talk about that stuff. Does Clay Worse know when is he close? Where the mine? I don't think he's close. He's up on Peters Mesa, so I don't think it's up on Peters Mesa, knowing Peters Mesa. So that is what it is. And no. So he spent most of his life searching that area. Very, some guys believe in certain areas and they're just not going to take their focus off that area. And I believe about 10, 15 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, Clay said they were within a half or a quarter square mile. Maybe it was a quarter square mile of the mine. They were sure it was in that area, and nothing's ever happened since. I think that whole group that was working on that broke down. I don't think they're working a coordinated effort on it anymore. Cool. You would love Ireland and Scotland. Worth the visit. Plenty of historical. Edinburgh and Atlantic Ireland Trail. Don Shade found Walt Gassler's body. Yeah, Ireland. Well, I'm Irish and Scottish and Scandinavian, so that's part of that. But no, for me, Ireland, and I always want to see certain things that are off the way. Phil Lynott's statue. I think it's in Dublin. I'd like to see that. There's things that the tourism don't do that I'd be like, nah, I'd like to see Gary Moore's grave. So there would be side moments for me definitely to do that. But yeah, to me, that's kind of like more of a trip of like, huh, that would be cool. And I think it involves, I can't remember what the itinerary was, but it hit enough or close enough to places that I was like, yeah, that one I could, I might deal with the plane ride. I rode planes till I was in my 20s so much that I really have an aversion to flying. I'm over it now. I do fly now, but there was a period I just didn't want to fly anymore. I was just over it. It wasn't a fear. It was just I was done. And when you're done with something, you find reasons that you don't want to do it. So, um, Knox statue is beautiful. Phil Knott statue is in Dublin. Yeah, I thought it was in Dublin. So maybe they'll have a Gary Moore one there down the street from it by the time I get there. So that's it. But yeah, I'm a big fan, Thin Lizzy, but big fan of Gary Moore as well. Um, so, but there we go there. So everybody will know when I'm in Ireland where I'm going. Um, let's see. We did that. We did that. We did that. Don Shade found Walter Gessler's body. And Don Shade, a lot of the talk with Don Shade is an interesting book. I'm trying to remember what that book's name was. Over, yeah, that's weird. The bookshelf is always just at an angle, and I know where the book is, but I just can't see it. But yeah, he did great research. He collected and got some great stuff together. It's just he had some odd views, and you have to kind of work around some of those. I think everybody that knew him liked him, though. Flying just a pain in the ass. It's not fun anymore. No, it is not. Well, you still playing music? Yes, I'm still playing music. Yeah, this week I didn't bring the guitar down and play any music because the computer screwed up. So we've been playing music. There's a whole bunch of stuff loaded. And I'll talk about that in a second here, with the Sunsets project and all, which is finished up. I flew so much. My dad worked for Delta Airlines, and I flew constantly, and we flew on everything, and between cities and this and that, and it just kind of got over it. You also have to remember that I flew first class most of my life. Now, most of the time, I fly coach. I don't care, but I flew first class, and it's first class is way different now, and coach is okay, but it's just weird that I don't know, with the TSA and the boarding process and everything else, and hurry up and wait and stuff. It's such a pain to travel. If you see me travel, I don't have anything in my hands. I travel with my wallet, my keys, my hat, and my clothes, and that's how I travel. And I put the bag on the plane. The bag doesn't get there, I can buy stuff if I need to. But I travel hands free so I can just move about. And if I do have a book, it's usually a book I'm not personally invested in, not like a favorite book. It'll be a book I'm reading. I'll keep it if I really, really like it. If I think, oh, it was okay, but it's not a book I'm going to run through again, then I'll just leave it somewhere, write an inscription, whoever finds this, hope you enjoy, and just leave it for someone else who's traveling. So that's kind of how I do that. Takeoffs are always cool. I have my playlist for takeoffs. Countdown to the rendezvous. Yet 2 months. Have you heard of Rory? I know who Rory Gallagher is. Yep. Great guitarist. Yeah, he sweated on that guitar, man. The guitar, his sweat was so acidic and the stain and varnish right off of it. Yeah, I got some Rory Gallagher stuff. It's a different. I think he was very influential to almost everybody in Ireland during that time period as a guitar player, and I don't think he ever, outside of Ireland and the UK, ever got his due. Really good guitar player, though, very fast. A lot of great slide work and stuff, but I don't think he ever really got radio play. I think the closest thing I could think of is maybe Bad Penny might have got on the radio, maybe at some point, but he never got radio airplay and stuff. And it's kind of a shame, but it's different. I mean, Thin Lizzy only got so much. Gary Moore never got a ton, so it's kind of odd. It's like, oh, he's kind of, I think he's probably More well known now from, because of streaming and stuff, people can, don't have to go to a record store and just dig around and go, who's this? But I mean, now people take chances and sample music. So I think he gets heard a bit more now. So there's that. Where were we on that? Because we got on Rory Gallagher. Oh, my computer's 100. Oh, it's working on updates. It's 100% complete. So my computer might be good for next week. Okay, takeoff's always cool. Countdown to rendezvous. We got through that. Have you seen the Matt Poiston guy yet? No, I don't know who that is. You'd have to help me out on that. So, anyways, musically, Sunsets, I've been trying to decide after the last couple of years because there also was another project. Someone wanted me to do kind of ambient music. And that was what they put it to me as. Oh, I need ambient music. Well, how long? Do you want loop stuff for 20 minutes? Do you want this? What do you want? So I started working on different projects and coming up with stuff. And it's all kinds of different music, but I was just like, okay, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this. Okay. Well, now I got a load of stuff and I'm trying to decide what to do with it. Hopefully, eventually, we'll do some video stuff that will put some of the music to, because it's not all going in Sunsets. It doesn't work that way. It's completely different. And well, some of it is very, very odd. And it's just jumping genre to genre and having a good time. And some of it doesn't have any guitar, and some of it is loaded with guitar. And I just kind of like sat back and thought it'd be fun just to do whatever everybody was requesting. And between Sunsets and my own stuff and this other person that Trevor was working with and someone else, I just started loading up and saying, just make it a habit of every day or so. Just sit down, hit the button, and just start working ideas. Set a click track and then just play with ideas on it. And if it's really terrible, delete it. If it's halfway decent, save it. Occasionally go back and play with it. And now, I think the last time I looked for this summer alone, I got about 75 tracks that need mixed. Well, actually, there's a few that I mixed down. So I'm jumping back and forth and mixing and deciding what they need finished. So there's this ton of music. It's not everybody's cup of tea. It's just going to be a ton of different things, but it's going to be interesting. So I've talked to Trevor, and because it's mostly original stuff, probably 98%, it'd be monetized. So I figure we'll do something connected to the YouTube channel and integrate it. I don't think I really want to put on this channel. I might, but then the idea was every week release another piece. And the pieces range from 3 to 5 minutes to up to 10 minutes to 20 minutes. And it was depending on the project. So as you can imagine, some of it's just repetitive, what I would call ambient bullshit, but it was fun. It was fun for everyone, for me, not anyone else in the house, to hear the same droning thing. Because every time I do a track, I got to go back and start it over. So if it's something really blah, you just hear that part over again for 15 minutes, and then you hear me start it over, adding another piece. So, but it was fun. It was fun. It was a good exercise and just enjoying doing stuff. So there's a lot going on in that stuff. And then part of it too was, well, why not do some cover things in there too, which was fun, but rework the covers. So there was 2 or 3 songs I started working on. Is just pure fun of doing a cover song of something, but keep it just in, change the key or do something different. So that was why when I discussed before, there's the guitar in open G, the guitar back here, I just did the right thing. That guitar back there is in Dad Gad. It's in an open D tuning, which people think of as the Celtic tuning. I don't know if it really is. It's the tuning that Cashmere's in. And so I've been playing with those kind of things. And like I said, it was just an exercise in fun, nothing too serious. And then it's a different world. It's a digital download world. And I thought, rather than try to do stuff in iTunes and stuff like that, why not just do YouTube? Find some way to give people a visual. And if they don't want the visual, at least they can just listen and let people have it for free because it's doing me no good on shelves, which continues to open up. Oh, that's a great idea. So let's do some more. And then let's start taking stuff from the 90s and the early 2000s, play with that. And we'll have, and then it becomes way more than it should. But eventually that will come out before the end of this year because once Sunset's done, I got to start clearing the palette of a lot of stuff. So, and the biggest problem is the mix. Tyler is doing the music production for film this year, so I'll have Tyler to help me mix down as I progress. When Tyler comes back this fall and winter, I'll have Tyler to help me more because that's one of the other things is getting everything mixed down and then filed over. But once we've decided on what visually to throw with that stuff will come out. Rewriting history book. Have you seen the map? Oh, that's a guy. And electric range in music is great, brilliant. Yeah, I want to do a theremin album. That would be so funny. He didn't play guitar or keyboards. He just took that theremin and went woo woo woo. Okay, never mind. The Matt Polston guy has a book at Superstition Museum. The heart and sharing coordinates area looks like the stone maps. That's great. And since Travis Tomlinson made the stone maps, and I don't know, it's okay. Anybody can write a book. Yeah, so is Robert Kessel. Robert Kesselring's book is based on Google Earth and maps. It's hailing so hard in Tucson, the power might go out. Huh, you got Tucson Electric. That's not on my watch. But yeah, maybe it's good Trevor got out of there when he did. Hopefully it'll come up north and it'll move west because it's been coming up, but we've not been getting anything over here in the West Valley. Show me a map that doesn't jive. Well, I could show you any map and make it jive. All of the old maps have nothing to do with Google Maps. Yep. Well, it's always everyone's got to remember one of the worst things that's ever happened, and the best things is the internet age. There's a really good hello Nogales, loaded fun. The internet brought us a lot of information, brought us a lot of bad information. It also brought us a lot of people that thought they should push out information that was bad information. And there wasn't a verification process. You didn't need a degree. You didn't need a associate's or a bachelor's degree, a doctorate, a master's. You didn't need any really authentication to do things. That was kind of problematic. Everybody can make a book. Anybody here who wants to spend a few $100 can go, if they have a laptop, write a book, and they'll even make a cover for you, and you can get a book published, and you can have 20, 30, 40 copies of a book. You can make an ebook even cheaper, and anybody can do it. Get their name out there, and oh, I'm an author. And everybody has this kind of thing of thinking, well, it's, since it's that easy, just everyone will do it. And the same thing happened to music, and it kind of ruined things a bit because you don't have people playing bars and bands hashing it out and playing in parking lots and kids playing in garages. You don't have what created music and experience and accidents and things that made it what it was. And what you have now is people just copying things and the cut and paste. I realize I don't do it, but Pro Tools allows me to sit there and say, oh, this is really good. And then I can just cut, copy, and paste. So once I got a minute or two of a rhythm track or what I want to do, I don't have to play it anymore. I could just slap it in. I prefer to let it play its length. I like the mistakes. I think the mistakes sometimes sound really good. I know also the mistakes always sound good after you've heard it long enough, which if you think about that, you'll understand that. But we've kind of ruined everything. Our phones hear us. They know what we want. They send us advertising for what they overhear in conversations. Because of the lives and everything, and I have my phone around, my phone's very confused of what I like. But hearing me talk lizard people stories and everything else. But we've become a society that's so reliant on that, and we don't think about just I don't know, 25 years ago, we didn't have this. There were computers, the internet was there. It was very, very in its infancy. We didn't have the smartphone capability. It was such a different world. Now, 25 years later, it's almost everything functions off these stupid things. And it's not like it's something you can pitch out. If you don't use one, good chance are is you don't work in a classified job or business system. I know almost everywhere it's email, it's text, everything is, and it's immediate response and stuff. So it's a different world. And unfortunately, it's tied us to that chain. And then now we have the AI stuff where everything's AI. AI sounds like crap to me. I saw the other day they had a Freddie Mercury AI song of a Beatles song, Let It Be, and it didn't sound like Freddie Mercury to me. I saw where it kind of would to someone could sound like Freddie Mercury if they weren't a big fan because it was too smooth and it didn't really. But that's the problem. Everybody will buy into that, and then that's what everything becomes. So everything becomes watered down, too smoothed out, too bullshit, and yeah. And then we all want to go back out and just go stay in the mountains. Okay, so I'm trying to catch up. Show me a map doesn't job. Blah, 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 blah. Hello from Naples. Hey, Naples. That was loaded fun. I was there. Okay. Doesn't have to be Google, whatever side it is. I think it is a great tool. It's a great tool. It's a great tool for working towards a subject. I've talked before where my satellite imagery that I use is when I find and or I know I'm going to an area and put pinpoints in or thumbtacks or whatever you want to call them, push pins. And then I go to those different places and I look at the area. It's so off. If you don't use it every day of your life and go out physically to places and constantly, because you can be in the same general area and go a mile away. And that matter of 5 to 10 feet difference in elevation, because they will be different, can really throw you off what you're looking at because it's hard to imagine size. I already talked and we have the archive footage somewhere of where I thought there was something in the ground. It looked like a 12 pack of beer size. I was very familiar with everything. I measured it out. I had everything down. I looked at that thing for 2 or 3 years. It never changed. It never moved. I watched the shadows around it. I thought it can't be a beer 12 pack, but what is in this hole? It's perfectly dug out hole, square. But it was actually a circular crater, and it was a refrigerator. So Frank and I went out. And we have the film footage somewhere of me going down and finding it. It was really disturbing. Now the whole area is dug up, and there was a lot of activity in the area. It was a very cool day. The footage, unfortunately, it was a very windy day. We didn't have the lav mics, and Trevor wasn't there, so I was filming Frank and myself, but it's really jerky and stuff because I was kind of in the lead talking over stuff and the wind's blowing. And so someday maybe as just kind of a middle of the week BS thing, we'll release some of it. But that taught me a lesson, and I've went back every time. There's so many different challenges with it. I am really good with it, but I also realize if I'm not doing something for a while, hey, Dallas, I got to get back kind of hung into it. When I'm on my toes and work in an area and know I can pick out rocks, boulders, different things, but I've found things that I've been like, what the hell is that? And then I go and see it and I'm like, oh, I should have known, but that being able to match that size is so hard when you're in the Google Maps. It's so hard to understand that. Now I use a number of different types of tools, not just Google Maps, Google Earth, or anything like that. I use a lot of aerial photography stuff and all that because of the work-based thing I do. And because of that, and part of my job was finding things. So you learn to be really good at it. I'm looking for junction boxes, and I'm looking for transformers, and I'm looking for meters, and I'm looking for things and power lines that are very, very difficult to pick out in those things. And but that's my job, and using DMS and DM in location. So if you know what I'm talking about, then you but again, it's a great tool. It's not a tool to write a book based on. So, all right. That was way too much talking for that. The hail is horizontal. There you go. Where's it coming from if it's horizontal? Okay. Last week when I asked about Miguel Peralta, evidently he was a storekeeper. There was a storekeeper named Miguel Peralta. There was a lot of Miguel. He was from a town in Mexico named Jerez. Yes, that's true. Waltz could have known him. Who knows? He says, yeah, he committed suicide in Nogales, I believe. Was it Nogales he committed suicide? He was a storekeeper here, and I think he was involved with the Peraltas up in the Black Canyon area. So yes, that's in Corbin's Curse of the Dutchman Mine. I think that's actually in that. Good book to find. I learned how to play music by eat first as a kid and then growing up to learn music. What's weird about learning music is you either get it or you don't, and it was very odd. As a kid, I ended up playing music and having to do music, and it wasn't later till I really started to like certain kinds of music. Then it fell back, and I realized, oh, I get what it's for now, what I can do with this now, and everything fell into place for me completely. I heard things different when I was young, and we're talking age of 8 to 12. I didn't get it. It was like, okay, I can play this. What is the okay? Everybody, people think that's cool. I really didn't like feel it at all. And then I heard stuff that kind of resonated with me. And then that was and the same thing goes for anything is you kind of something you may not really be into it. And BTO made a stutter famous, for example. BTO Bachman Turner Overdrive? I don't know. Wayne, have you noticed Google View resolution is lower when used to do, potentially try? Yeah, they've trashed resolution in certain sites. They change it, or they will actually use imagery from years ago. You can find where they basically don't let you see what's happening currently. It's interesting. I've run into it because there's days I had giant monitors, and sometimes I would just put select one of the things I would be using for imagery, and I would just select it up, and I would just take a mouse and I would slowly move it and hone in and look at an area probably 50 by 50 feet, and I would just look over the area just to look at different stuff. The three-dimensional is a joke because everything you go see in a three-dimension doesn't look like what it did on three-dimensional. Weaver's Needle looks like hilarious, but yeah, so it's a good tool, but it's a tool to be used where you got something, rhyme reason. This is awesome insight. Thank you for this. I didn't speak on this. I don't know what I'm speaking on. Whether it's the music, the Google Maps, the Google Earth, or internet, or AI taking over the world. Living there in Arizona, have you ever found Mojave greens? Yes, it's Mojave rattlers. Yes. Not in my house, no. The worst I had at the house was out back. There was a snake, but it was a rat snake. Scared the shit out of me because he was going along the bottom of the fence. But no, they used to have rattlesnakes. Not this. Well, out here, we used to have them out behind the house. They were Western Diamondbacks. Don't have any really anymore. It's they leave. The big thing they need is mice and rats. Once things develop and things are cleared out, they start to disappear. A lot of Mojaves out in the mountains. I know they like a lot of the wash areas, and there's areas that are moist. Mojaves are different too. They'll be more tan or brown or gray out in certain areas, and then you find them up in areas that are green. It's like that, like chameleons. They'll be greenish, the green Mojaves. So they have a greenish hue to them when they're growing up in the grass and weeds and stuff. I saw that out by the Hacienda. But yeah, I've seen plenty of all kinds, but we don't have much of a problem with them around here now. Excuse me. Still have a problem with scorpions occasionally, but I use diatomaceous earth, so I don't have much of a problem with that anymore. I used to step on them, the buggers. So, but I had hard heels and feet, so usually just break them, snap them. But it's scary when you look at the bottom of your foot and then you look at the ground and realize, oh crap. So can't drown a scorpion. If you drown him and he's dead and you put him out somewhere, he'll come back to life. Greetings, Gil Gold Prospecting, San Antonio, Texas, where every day is a golden day. Music. I play sake nuggets, sake nuggets in the snuffer bottle. Okay. Good afternoon from Long Island, Susan. Maps and music. I am dizzy. And the internet, the wide world web. Who blamed all of Herman Petrash's stuff? Oh, who claimed all his stuff when he passed away? Probably the Martins, the Martin family. He's buried in their family area at the cemetery down in Superior. So I'm sure whatever he had a book and magazine collection. He had two shotgun. Well, I know the Martins got it because they had the shotgun that Reinhardt shot himself and committed suicide with. Herman had that, and he had another one that was his. They ended up with both those shotguns. So I think they ended up with all the stuff that was there. There wasn't a ton of stuff. He had stuff, but it wasn't, anything at that point worth saving. People would have stole it by then. Because he wasn't always at the house, and it didn't have it wasn't like if you ever see it, there's just a wood and tin place built up with tires on the roof to hold the roof down. So, but I know he had a good collection of books and stuff. It was kept kind of neat from what people have told me. And but he had two shotguns, and I don't know. But the Martins ended up with his stuff. They ended up with a bunch of the Revis stuff as well. So, and I think a lot of that stuff was destroyed in a fire. The metal, the guns, but the stocks were burned up, but there was a fire, and a lot of the stuff was destroyed. Blah 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 blah. But there were logbooks. Logbooks might have got destroyed too, but we copied a lot of the logbooks. So there's copies in the archives, the Historical Society and Greg Davis's collection and Jack Carlson's collection. We went through the logbooks from the ranches, from the Martins and the Frasers, and Jack had gotten all that stuff, and it was very, very cool. Had Herman's name, 5 cents for 2 bars of soap. It was very cool stuff from when they worked on the ranch, seeing their names in those books and stuff. Have you ever been over to Paradise Mesa? Yes, been there. Been through the town too. Anybody wants to stop, and I don't think there's there any place to eat there anymore. The rest stop is right across from the police station, and both looking totally vandalized. It was pretty bad shape last time I was through there, the town. So that's a res town that's hit some serious hard times, and that's out past San Carlos, going out towards New Mexico. So you're on the highway, and it's just off the side there. It'll say that it's there, and then you'll pull in, and you'll go like, "Oh man," it's kind of like it's suffered. It's had. Talking of snakes, any real life human lizards? Any real life human lizards? No, I've never seen human lizards. I've seen people that got like lizard skin from the sun and stuff. There's lot lizards. There's different, but not the spacey reptile alien kind in jumpsuits with badges. I've not seen those ones. No, so not those kind. I always find it odd that they picked, I don't know. Someone else told me, and I'm trying to find the story to tell the story this year, but said there was another incident with the lizard people up in another part of the mountains, and there was a shootout with them, which I didn't know they had guns too. So there you go. But I'm trying to find that one, but that might have been just a hearsay campfire story because I've not found any trace on it. That is the only lizard people story I know from the superstitions ever published, put out there. So that is the one. My mom recently learned about lizard people and skinwalkers. Why they even lump them together? She shouldn't lump them together. About lizard people and skinwalkers, and now she doesn't want me in the mountains. I should say to ease her mind. Well, one, they're not real. Okay. There's no lizard people out there. Tom Collenborn never saw lizard people. Ron Feldman didn't. Bob Schuss didn't. Clay Worst didn't. I didn't. All the people that have not seen them. I just, and the skinwalkers, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, there are people that have problems with superstitious. I don't want to say it just kind of off the cuff, but superstitious nonsense. And, I'll respect someone's beliefs, fundamental beliefs in something, not their, oh, I read a book. I mean, if it's like, oh, I read the book by so and so, and that means I'm in Sedona. Yeah, that's BS. Now, if someone's raised in a certain way and there's certain fundamental beliefs, and there's a moral and discipline attached to that for a reason, I can respect that. Um, so it's different to me. Um, so I can be very respectful with someone that I understand this is part of how they were raised and so forth. And I don't even know if those people believe into it that much. I think in a way it's respect to their culture and how they'll speak on it. I know it can't be changing for you guys, but it keeps getting lighter and darker. So it's kind of weird. I have no idea how it visually looks here. So just tell her it's just not real, man. Or tell her, I don't know, tie a stick to you, a stick on a rope around and hang it around your neck and say that protects you from that. The lizards are afraid of sticks. Saw a map of David is missing 411 clusters in the USA that matches the cave system map of the USA. It's creepy when people up and disappear like Cayman Welch. I don't know. People do disappear, and sometimes people want to disappear. And then I will always say this: if you're in the superstitions, some of the deeper areas, and now the fire's cleared stuff out of it, but I've been out there where we've went off and we're bushwhacking and doing something, and I know the trail's there, and I can't see the trail, and I'm like, I know the trail's somewhere here, and I'm looking around, and I'm thinking, I can't see any break, any possibility where that trail could be. You could walk around in circles and never encounter that trail. And then I'm just walking, and then I see a bobbing head somewhere, and I'm like, oh, okay, someone just came through. There's where the trail is. Or I just keep walking a direct line, and then I'll cross it because I know it's between here and there. Um, but it's weird because I do know people can do circles. And it's natural for us to kind of not just pick a point and say direction and go that way. It's just natural to arc. And that's what people do. They generally do a lot of weird arcs. So I don't know if it's I just went dark again, light again, dark again. It's distracting to me because I see it. But I think it's just, we have bad internal compasses anymore. And because of that, we tend to do things like that. When I'm out doing stuff, and I'm not going to tell everybody to do this, but I tend to like, if I'm walking and I know, okay, there's nothing in my way and I have a straight path and there's nothing I'm going to trip on, I like to close my eyes and see if I'm concentrating on balance and direction, how far I deviate consciously, just relying on my instinct and balance of trying to stay north or whatever the direction I'm going. And it's really funny because even I deviate, but I've tried that. Yeah, it's things always get in your way, things always happen, and people disappear very easily. There's people that purposely disappear, and I've seen that where they just, Ed Buckwitz was like that. He could just disappear on you. You could know he was over there, and people would go by, and there was nowhere in sight. There's a few other people like that I'd run into in the mountains where you could smell the fire, or you could smell the cigarette smoke. You could smell that cigarette, and you knew they were nearby, and you were just kind of like, here, and he's close because I can smell it. It's strong, and you just can't see them, and they either just or whatever. And sun's out again. Well, that was a quick one. Storms heading north. Blah, boom, 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 boom. I don't like those storms. I like the ones that settle in and you get to sit back and watch for a while. So, yeah, so people getting lost in the mountains happens way more than it should. But it's again, part of that thing is you have a culture of people that, well, he read all those books and he goes out hiking a lot and he's really well informed and he's really knowledgeable. But it's just like anything, like I was saying about the aerial photo satellite imagery and stuff. If you're using it constantly day to day and it's part of your job at work, your whole focus and your discipline with it is different than someone that uses it as hobby. because it matters and you have to have results in production, and it's a whole different ball of wax. People getting lost out there always get the excuse of, well, he was really good with the wilderness, he could manage, he was an very experienced camper and stuff. And it's just like, you're like, well, how much was he? Because when you go out and sometimes you get the information, you can't sit out there and you don't want to be the asshole and say negative stuff, but you want to be like, what the hell? Why would you let someone do that? Why did someone do this? What were they thinking at that? Um, and I've been out there where I thought, what the hell was I thinking today? This was the wrong day to pick and do this. But I recognize a lot of different things as I've gotten older. But the one thing is, it's just, yeah, but the mountains never being found. I guarantee you, I could tell you someplace I'm going to go out there with a basketball, normal basketball. And I could tell you, I'm going to stand over here and I'm going to throw it over this hill. Go find that basketball. And I guarantee you, it's either you're going to find it or you're never going to find it. It's going to either be you just happen to walk up on it and you just got really lucky, or nobody sees it. People lose stuff that I'm like, how the hell would they lose that? And it's just because they're in an area, they put something down and they could never. I've been out there where I've been in places. I kind of jumped there, but where I'm like, okay, I'm going to come back over here. So I'm going to, I'll set my pack and stuff down. And then I've had a panic when I turned around and was heading back. And I suddenly realized I can't figure out where my pack is. I was only 50, 60 feet away. How could I get turned around? But it happens to everybody. So there you go. And then we have the Tokyo Dolphin. There's always interesting names out there. World War II compass. You should always carry a compass. I don't care what you have. If you have GPS, if you have a satellite phone, whatever, always carry a compass. And of the area you're hiking in, always carry a topo map. That's a brilliant thing to do. You tell someone where you're going too. But a topo map's good because you can light it on fire and you can use it to start a fire if you need to. But a topo map, a compass is always good. So, because with a compass, there's so much you can do. And with a topo map, you'll always figure something out. Have you ever used a laptop for multi-track recording? You can, well, with Pro Tools, you can use a laptop. You just need to have a box. You have to have. I use Scarlett. The interface is through Scarlett. I don't remember what brand are they called. I know it's more than Scarlett. Anyways, I have a Scarlett, but it's multiple channels. Scarlett. It's big rack systems. Can't show everybody. Someday we'll have to do something on show the racks, but you can get those smaller boxes that's just like one or two inputs and a little mix that you can just plug into a laptop. All you need is Pro Tools. I would always get, I know there's a couple other, get one of the better subscription or ones you can use. Don't use the one the teenagers use, some bullshit. It's better to get and learn it, take your time. I wasn't really happy with Pro Tools at first because I thought it was going to be too complicated. Once I kind of got it down and got my steps worked out and kind of got my monkey memory going with it, I really like it. So it's easy. It's so much easier. And well, if my computer didn't go that, it's so easy just to sit down, turn it on, boom, open it up, and then all I got to do is type in something, a number, a letters, and whatever to create a track, and I'm just rolling. Or just open another track and start working on it. And like I said, it has a lot of capacity for files and stuff. I've never used all the tracks on it. So I've been up to 15, 20 tracks and it still has let me open tracks. So there you go. But it works pretty much with everything I have, analog and digital. So I've not had any problems, but you get that. And I think is it Scarlet Sapphire Scarlet. I think that might be it. But anyways, they have smaller boxes you can get for $75 to $125 and get one of those plugins to use for a guitar or a keyboard or something. You can do a lot with those. And you can use a laptop. Steven Wilson from Porcupine Tree, who's remastered and remixed and done all those remasters and remixes for Genesis, Jethro Tull, yes, a lot of different bands, progressive bands, and a lot of cool stuff. But anyways, he uses his laptop to do it. He runs everything, burns the tape, well, bakes the tapes, gets everything transferred digitally, and then he goes through with one of the earlier remastered versions and then the original tapes, and then he tries to, he does his thing. But he does it all from laptop, so it's very, very possible. I just like having something bigger to work with, more room to work with, and bigger monitors and stuff. But I suppose if you could do it off an iPhone, I guess, if you really wanted to. There we go. Going in the soups into November. Is there usually waters? It depends if there's rain. We haven't had any rain, and I don't know until November if we'll have any. So it's going to depend on the rain. Bluff Springs has usually got some water there. Charlie Boy's always got some water. There's a few springs that will have water. It's best to check. Forestry Service is usually pretty good at telling you. The other thing is ask somebody out there. Just go on a forum or someplace where people hike and ask it and who's been out there. They usually will tell you, but yeah, there's just not a lot of areas. Most places you're going to have to filter anyways, but Bluff Springs is usually pretty solid, and Charlie Boy. Everything else is hit and miss, in my opinion, for pretty much the summer. There's some of those potholes in some of the areas that have water, which me and Greg Davis talked about, the Garden Valley hole that has water. It usually has water year round. It's just so bad. I'd be so worried about getting so sick off of that stuff, even if I filtered it. It's just nasty. Anyways, some of the older MacBooks are still incredibly useful as long as you don't mind having the newest software. Inbox makes a cheap interface. PT is like Logic. I don't know if what we're talking tech has come so far. Tech is so weird anymore. It is so weird. It is so nice because when you're kind of a little geeky with that, and I didn't mind cutting tape and I didn't mind really working on stuff, but it's such a jump now in the microseconds to be able to the thousands of seconds to be able to do things that it's funny. You don't get the pops anymore. I would say it's just there's a very seamless way everything works now, and you can get the buzzing out of and stuff. You don't need to worry about so much stuff. The problem, again, as we went on earlier, it makes everybody who has decent base knowledge think they can do a creative process, myself included. I mean, maybe I suck, but hey, I got the tools, so I can suck on a big platform. And that is the problem. That is, bottom line, the biggest problem I have anymore is there are people that put stuff out, and someone who was friends through all this with me, I considered him a friend. I thought he was pretty good, and he played music, and I won't tell you what he played and everything. I don't know if he's still around. He started going by different handles and got weird, but he sent me something he did, and I basically, as a friend, critiqued it of like, this is what you need to do, because it sounded a little too, I would say, a little stiff, a little Casio to me. And I saw where he was going with it, and I thought it was a little overproduced, and he lost the resonance of the room. And I just told him, and I said, hey, this is just, as a friend, saying this is what I would think to make it breathe better and stuff. Different set of ears on it. And he got so fucking pissy. And oh my God, it was a meltdown and insults for a month. And I just finally just unfriended him. It was like, dude, man, you asked what I thought of it. And I told you what I thought. I saw what you were doing and complimented you on it, and then said, you can touch these things up. And he's like, well, you're just nitpicking. And I'm like, no, I'm not nitpicking. You wanted to know how it sounded. And I know there's stuff I do that it doesn't sound perfect, doesn't sound right. There's problem. He had a couple glaring spots that just made it to me of like, that wouldn't fly. It was a demo, basically. In my opinion, it was a really good demo. And you go back and do these things, it won't be that anymore. And he did not like that. So, what is the strangest experience you've had in your adventures in the mountains? I would say and you can go look at the videos, the stick man thing, because I still don't know what the that was. And then the Lost Dutchman store thing with the camera. I don't know what that was. Those are probably the two things that are the weirdest to me that I can't even offer an explanation, because I have the photograph and I have the original negative and stuff. I don't know what that was about. I have no clue. That was weird. It could be coincidence, but I went out and took this picture from the same exact position 8 or 9 times after that. Could never get anything to even slightly do the same reaction. So I don't even know what to think. Going out the same time of the year, same time, same everything, the day before, the day after, trying to replicate it in any way so it could actually even fractionally say, okay, I could see nothing. And I knew it was a clear day. I knew because I had pictures from the outside and I was able to see that it was a clear day. That one and the stick man, it was probably the two weirdest. In both cases, I was alone. One, I actually have physical evidence. The other one, I just don't have an explanation. It could have been a dude. It wasn't me tripping or anything. It was just a very odd thing. And the fact that it stuck with me, and for a long time, I didn't like talking about it because I didn't know what the hell, how to explain it to somebody. And it took me a long time. I don't even know if I talked to Randy about it. I talked to my dad about it, but I didn't talk. I don't know if I told Randy about it for years because it was just a weird thing as I was so not into that crap that I had this thing. I just didn't know exactly what happened. And I had possibilities in the back of my head, but I never was able to really have something reasonable. And I never had an incident anywhere similar. So now I'm bright. Outside it's dimmer, inside I'm bright. So it has to be this doing, yeah, it just changed again. But I never had anything similar to that, close to that. And I've had people tell me what they thought it was. Okay, whatever, but I don't really have a clue, So, but that was probably the weirdest thing. Was I spooked? No, it was in the moment. I was thinking it might have been a person. So, but mm, okay, old systems. We go back to yes, we will be back in the spiral. Talking about old systems, I have my Tascam machine down over there. You can't see it, can you? Let's see if I can do that. See the Tascam? Oh, wrong. Right there, it's blue. Yeah, it's right above the Korg pedal. And there's a Tascam machine there. There's the Fender amp. But the Tascam is one of the tools I used to use. I also have a Grundig reel-to-reel, and I have a Tascam reel-to-reel right here behind this. So, but yeah, that was a multi-channel unit there I could use too for tape. I liked working with tape, by the way, because tape I could move things around. The other cool thing about tape was getting your backwards and reverse echoes effects. It was so much easier on tape because you just flip the tape over, and I could get some really cool stuff, but it sounded really breathed right. And digitally, I don't think it works the same. There's no filter, no add-on, there's no plug-in, nothing that does it just like flip the tape over and do it naturally, flip it back, and it sounds right. And it has, for some reason, it works so much better. And I don't know why, because you should be able to time it better with the plugins and stuff. You should be able to do it better digitally. And for some reason, that old analog flip the tape stupid crap works really, really good. But spiral staircase, yes, that will be happening. We already had plans on it. It was just we had a few unfinished questions. There was a few other people that wanted to go. There was a few people that were not able to go with us and will never be able to go with us. And we wanted, as kind of a number of different reasons, to go out again and then just sit down and then just kind of hit it in a different way. There was a little different approach. I wanted to look at all the stories because this is total bullshit side. And there is, why is there so many puzzling real things about this total? I mean, nobody created some of this for no purpose. It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah. So we want to go out, kind of run that. It's, the tough part about it is getting people who are willing to do it. You all can jump in and say, "Oh, I'll do it." It's getting Frank and Trevor, and it's like, 'cause sometimes Frank will look at, why don't we want to go back there? Why don't we want to go there? Yes, yeah, blah 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 blah. It's very unsafe. It's going to be even more unsafe. Actually, we didn't get the rain, unless it rains a ton. We didn't get the rain we had previously that helped start collapsing it more. So I'm hoping we have the gear. One of the things is Frank made me promise to take more people. So this time he would be there, and we'd have some other people, and I'll have the gear. And it's just, one of the problems with the gear is, the rope itself. God, what does it weigh? Probably 30 pounds. Um, Carrying all the climbing gear and necessary safety gear, it weighs, and we have to carry all the camera gear and the batteries and stuff, and then we have to have our water and stuff. Well, if there's just two of you going, you're not going to bring all that gear. So if we have more people, we can divide some of the gear and the harness and stuff, and it'll be fine. So I do have all the gear. It's just, if I don't have all the people that carry all the gear in. So this time it should be good. We should be able to, everybody can divvy up some of the stuff, and definitely go down in, and get some really good, I want to get some really good still photos. And I also want to take some rebar and pound some rebar in some spots and see what we can get into. And I would like to find, there's two people that have photographs from down in that mine and in the tunnel and of the staircase. And those two people have not kind of coughed it up for me. Those, and there's other people that claim to, but these two people I know and I trust their word. So I'm still waiting for that. It's a death trap. Well, what are you, KJ7? Frank? Is this Frank's hidden identity? It's a death trap. Well, you didn't say it's a fucking death trap, so you must not be Frank. Did Andy Sinbad ever document anything about it? Andy, yeah, well, he told a lot of people. Shoes ended up out there because of Andy. Andy talked about it quite a bit. That's one of the problems we had as I got into it, is I couldn't figure it out because other people, Paul Zellner and other people, tried to make Andy seem not as important to it or kind of push him out of it. And yet I was finding Andy was there and discovered things concerning it, and was very involved with it way before them. So he kind of like got to that point where it really wasn't working for him as he got older. And I think they kind of came in and he got kind of pushed out a little. And I don't know if that's the whole truth or whatnot, but I know he was deep in there. And I've talked to a few people off the record where I kind of got maybe a little rude of like, come on, I do know at this time and this about Andy. So I don't give a shit what you want to say on a forum or in a book or any place else, just to me right here. And we kind of got on the same page that way. Because to do the history of something or understand it better, you got to have the truth. You can't have people just flipping things around and mix and match it. And, oh, nah, he wasn't, that was so that was important. So there is documentation with Andy. He turned a lot of people onto it, Paul Zellner, and he turned Bob Shoes and a number of other people onto it. Have to be dug out. I'm willing as soon as I don't know about digging it. You can't technically dig it. It would be against the law. You rude. Nah. If I know something and there's something not jiving and someone's kind of like, it's like, no, come on. If it's just the two of us sitting here, I'm not going to go on the internet and say your name and stuff and that you lied. I just want to know for my own purposes here why this doesn't connect at all. And yeah, and that person got the full dose of me kind of getting really annoyed, and it got worked out. Do you think a donkey would help or hinder the expedition? What are the rules on that? Well, one, you can't dig, so it would be illegal to dig it out anymore. It was illegal when they were working on it. So there's all kinds of problems associated with it. Fortunately, the Forestry Service, even with the videos that Terry Carter did, and I did. Oh, that's who I talked to also. Terry Carter. Sorry, Terry. Yeah, I talked to Terry. Me and Terry had a phone call, a chat and stuff. Hopefully he can make it to the rendezvous. But glad I thought we got on this briefly. But Terry Carter and Sal did their thing. We did our stuff on it, and it doesn't seem to have caused anybody, because I don't think they know what they rule it as. It's not a mine, so where has Frank been? Home. I don't think I've seen him in over a year. I don't think, well, we didn't release any video stuff that we did from 2024. We filmed, but we didn't that. He got sick a couple times and then he's busy. But yeah, we were out with Frank and stuff. It's just, again, it's everything we film, everything we do, we don't do that. So I talked to Frank and, hey, you want to go on a trip? And sometimes we do stuff and we just put it in a vault. Just there's nothing entertaining. It's just me and Frank, just sound bites and nothing. So we decided, let's make sure we're stepping forward. So after we did the last group, and then I thought we did something out there this year. I'd have to go back and look, but we've filmed. We just maybe haven't released most of it. That's up to Trevor. So, and that's up to Frank too. I mean, if he's not available, he's not available. When he wants to go, he wants to go. Sometimes Frank likes to leave later in the morning. I like to leave earlier. I like to get out there early and stuff. So it's sometimes the difference of that, but he'll be back out. There's 2 or 3 trips we want to make this fall. And there's a couple places he really wants to see. So, and actually of those places he wants to see, we actually have film and video footage of them we haven't released. So it will be, you'll see a number of the same sites. And the 2 sites will be focusing on that site and then the spiral a lot. And then there's a 3rd site I want to focus on. And then Trevor and I will have our thing because Frank is not going back in the mountains. He steadfastly, I've tried to convince him for years. I think it's that time is long gone. So I just told Trevor, it's just, I tried for so long. So now we'll just do our thing. And Trevor and I will head back in and do what we do, spend a day or 2 back in there and just film as much as we can and have a good time. Frank suggests it. He suggests us to go back and film. He just doesn't want to go. Let's go back. Yeah, Dallas. Phone died. Yeah, I know there's several people I'll be letting know that we'll kind of go out there with. Use your younger legs to help us out. But no, I think Frank will feel more comfortable with that and all. I know there's you, Dallas, and Derek Papsky is another good dude. And Derek's really into that stuff. And I think that'll be kind of a cool thing, is to have a group. Some of these other people have been interested in this in the area. And then we can kind of talk and kind of collectively what we're thinking with that. One of the reasons we always stay out of the collective thing is because it gives you more people with more ideas of what's going on. And most people, and this is not meant to be a rip on anybody, most people don't have my very sit on the fence, scientific neutral mindset of saying, okay, it's just, I don't know what it is. I don't have to put a name on it. I don't have to put a tag on it. I can just say, I don't understand what's going on with that and just let it be. So, and then go out and continue to investigate it. A lot of people like to start jumping and thinking something's happening or there's something to something. It was like I just told people, I said, hey, we got out with our frickin' without any problems. I didn't end up ripping my stitches in my back. I ended up in a very good place coming out of the spiral last time. Leave the cigarettes. That's tribute. Whatever it means. It's like, they're there. Just let them stay. I was fine with it. I don't want those cigarettes back. If you give them back, I'm just throwing them back down, because to me, that was an intent, purpose, whatever. I'm not superstitious, but hey, that was a bad decision, a bad thing to do, and bad idea on my part. And I was not physically in that. It's not the physical health shape. I was physically, shouldn't have been going down there with stitches. And I got very, very lucky out there with Trevor. I think Trevor was terrified of the whole thing because of that. And he knew, and he didn't know what to think. I mean, shit, I got stitches in my body, and and then I'm going and asking him questions. Is this torn? Is this bleeding? What's going on? And he's just sitting there thinking, man, what are we doing here? So, yes, look into this. I heard old timers and a few stories about the staircase mine Aztec. Don't know what it is. There's more of those pyramid made to the northeast. Hey brother, how's it going? Well, we're getting ready to leave because it's time. What's on tonight's agenda? Wayne's wipeouts. No, I don't wipe out. I don't wipe out. That was just I was in bad shape when I did that trip. But I wanted to do it. And I knew I couldn't tell Frank, and I couldn't really go on about it because Frank would push it. He would make everybody uncomfortable with me going in. So once Shoes and Frank found out I'd gone in there and been down there and all, they weren't real thrilled with me doing it. Are you excited about the work they're doing on the 88? We'll see what happens, see where they get, how far they get, and what goes on. I'm going to get out of here, though. Sorry, everybody. It is time for dinner. It is Chinese tonight. The kiddies are gone. They're back at NAU. So I got Chinese on tonight and some grocery pickup. So I'm going to get out of here. I enjoyed it. Had a good time, everybody. Sorry for all this stuff. Yes, Dallas, we'll look for some more of those pyramid rocks and line them up, and we'll line them up in a thing, and then we'll put a Tesla coil in the middle of them, and then we'll bring in a UFO or whatever. We'll figure something out. Country Carpenter, good evening. People are just showing up. We do this at 4:00. Thanks again, Wayne. Thanks again, everybody. Yeah, show up 4:00 or watch the repeat. Anyways, we had a little problem. We got through it. We got to this, did this. Hopefully next week we'll back to our normal view and sight. Thank you, everybody, for the awesome questions and the time. Hope I didn't bore you, didn't be too silly and all that. I'm trying to figure out how do I get out of this. Oh, there it is. Okay. And I can't use the mouse. I'm reaching over here to take the mouse. There's no mouse. Appreciate your time. I appreciate everybody coming in and spending some time with me. Would remote control camera be useful? I don't think so, Bobby. And then if something would be lost or something, I think it has to be a person. We've done the remote control and different stuff. It's just going to have to be. It's better than a person to be down in there. Wayne, Pratt, Trevor, and Jax. Trevor never showed up, and Jax never opened the door. Go figure. Watch the whole thing. There you go. Smile when your face freezes. Yeah, at the end there. Yeah, I always ask Trevor, why do we for the clips for the YouTube stuff, why do you always have like the picture of me with like my eyes closed, or I'm like that? Why the hell you do that? Pisses me off. All right. So everybody have a great weekend. Catch Chasing Legends on Monday. Rendezvous October 25th, 26th, 27th. And we'll probably be getting deeper into that next week. So there was some stuff I wanted to do on it. We had a really good conversation, so we'll catch that next week. I'm getting my little arrow over here so I can end the whole stream. But until next time, check out the website, where it's at, everything, the BART notes and stuff. Put in suggestions, leave comments on stuff. We answer the comment. Even if it's a thank you, I don't let the auto generator do it. We type THANK. We type it out and put the comment in ourselves. We do not AI generate anything. I told Trevor, if we can't take the time to hit a like button or say thank you to somebody, then we shouldn't be doing this. So there you go. Anyways, that's it. Hope to see everybody next Friday. I will volunteer to be on it. There you go. Bobby, you were already signed up. Too bad. Anyways, and Larry probably. All right, everybody, have a great one. We will catch you later, and we're out of here. Have a great weekend and take care.